This is Rob Howden, the voice of the Mazda Road to Indy, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Welcome, ICP fans, to another episode of the Indy Sports Car Podcast. Hey, Miss A.
Hello, hello. And joining us tonight, returning, you have Kristian Aleixo. I think I nailed it that time, too.
I think you did.
And also, coming from the USF 2000 series, driving for RJB Motorsports in the number 20 for Metalloid/Menards, Chandler Horton. Welcome to the show, Chandler.
Thank you guys for having me.
Chandler, it's a pleasure to have you on. And Missy, congratulations for nailing that one. I mean, that was like last minute type info right there. And normally you butcher it.
She did me proud.
Yeah.
She did us proud. She did us proud.
She got your last name finally. Took her almost 3 months. But hey, I mean, that's better now than never. And then Chandler, she nailed Chandler. So rock and roll. So right on. So again, Chandler, really happy to have you on, brother. So how excuse me. So you were driving for USF 2000 championship class. You and not just you, brother, but it's been a rough. I'd say it's been a rough year for the USF 2000 drivers. I mean, I remember Road America sitting next to Dakota Dickerson, and let's see, Ayla Argan, Luke Gavin were racing in that one, and they were all in the top 10 in points. So that was really sad to see. But that's just what we have come to find out in the last 3 years. It's really sucks, but you're very hopeful to be racing for Mid-Ohio, and we're very hopeful for you. So we always say that positive thinking breeds positive results, right? So so we're looking at it like you are going to be racing it. So that's positive right there, right? So sorry, I talk too much. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say thank you. Yeah, unfortunately this year we have seen with quite a few really talented drivers that it just sometimes the money's not there and you don't get to go racing, which it sucks, but it's the life of a race car driver.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, Parker has said on numerous occasions to us, he's just like, look, if I don't win the championship, I'm out. You'll never see me here again. And it's sad because, we feel as though he's one of the most talented racers on, out there, week in and week out, so. And then, he proved in Toronto this weekend, so there you go. And it's sad to hear that, a talented racer like that is basically saying, if I don't win this Mazda championship, it's over because the money's just not there. And it should be, because I got to tell you something, and I was saying it to Luke Gavin during Road America, that, me and Luke, we were walking back, I think it was a Saturday. It wasn't even race day. It wasn't even, the main event day. And the place was packed, right, Missy?
Yeah.
I mean, the stands were packed. I mean, we seen Billy Lehman walk up, we only sponsor his freaking Legends car. And we seen him walk into the stands and then disappear because the stands were packed. There were so many people everywhere, and we couldn't find them. After we went into the stands that we were sitting at down Turn 5 or Turn 3 or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how they should call it Turn 5, but it's Turn 5. But at any rate, so 2 years ago, that was not the case, right? 2 years ago, that wasn't the case. The tracks were normally ghost towns, no matter if MRTI was there or not. Didn't matter what supporting series was there or not. It was, the big race day of IndyCar, and that was the big packed day, and that was it. And that was it for a long time. And just the last couple of years, people have been getting into the MRTI. They've been understanding it, that a lot of great racing is in USF 2000, Pro Mazda, Indy Lights. I mean, just take Pro Mazda race number 2 at Road America, for example. I mean, Franzoni coming from the back, Martin and Franzoni bumping wheels all the way up the front stretch, and Martin winning by 0.2 of a second. So that's amazing racing right there. And that's why the fans are coming out in droves every event, for the entire weekend. And it just doesn't seem right. Like, the balance isn't there. Like, it should be, a lot of people means a lot of money, means a lot of racing, means a lot of drivers, right? And I don't see where the balance is. I don't know. You feel me on this?
Yeah, it is interesting because I think that's one of the really cool things that Maz Road to Indy and IndyCar themselves have been able to incorporate is how, us drivers on the Maz Road to Indy are the stars of the future. I think, before this, people only knew of race car drivers as IndyCar drivers, but now, you can see like in this year's Indianapolis 500 with how many former Indy Lights drivers there were, we really do become the stars of the future. So I think, the fans, especially the younger kids, they want their future heroes of the sport. And I mean, this is where they're going to find them. It was also interesting too, on my flight home from Toronto, I sat next to a gentleman who works in business, and he noticed I had a racing shirt on and started talking to me about racing and whatnot. And we got into a good conversation because for him, coming from the outside world, when I was talking to him about the junior formula level and trying to acquire sponsorship and how difficult it is because of, their return on investment isn't always necessarily the dollar, but there are a lot of other ways you can compensate for it. And so it was kind of cool to talk to someone who really has no background or, previous knowledge in racing, hear my side of the story and how interesting it is for him to see that what each of us young drivers have to go through so that we can just make it to the race weekend, to go racing. So, yeah, it is an interesting concept.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so much that goes on before you actually get to the racetrack, and to Chandler's point, being at this level, because you may not necessarily have a TV package. Yes, Road to Indy TV does a small part of it, and I think IndyCar did us a big service. I don't know if you agree with me, Chandler, but by broadcasting the races live on their fan page, I think that does us a great service as well. But without that national... Yeah, no, it's awesome. But without that national TV package that attracts so many people, you've really got to get creative at this level. You got to be a thinker outside the box. I'm talking, going that extra mile, because the days of a company being happy just to be a part of a winning team, just to have their name on it, are long gone. I'd say that stopped somewhere mid 90s when owners just start, were just happy. Companies were just happy to have their name on it. Now you got to jump through the hoops. Now you got to, light yourself on fire. Basically, you got to do all kind of stuff to impress them now. You got to go that extra mile. And if you're solely just relying on selling a company a sticker on a car, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and it's the only sport that's like that. The stick and ball sports.
I can't walk into the Pacers front office and say I want to play shooting guard tomorrow, and then they tell me how much it'll cost. I give them the check, and then I can start next to whoever plays for the Pacers.
Exactly.
I can't do that,
Well, I mean, Esteban Gutierrez can with, Dale, but oh boy, did Dale need the help. But still, I mean, Esteban's just costing him more money. I think it's funny. You should have stuck with Tristan, you freaking idiot. I'm not saying that about Dale Coyne. He's a really great guy, actually. But he should have stuck with Tristan. I'm just saying. But, I mean, at the time, I understood why he went with Esteban. But, I mean, look what he did in Toronto. He destroyed that car. That thing is a write-off. If they fix that car, I'm surprised. I don't know. That's just my take on that.
Did they fix it? I mean, or maybe they went to it. Does he even have a backup car? I don't even know.
They pulled out a new tub for Esteban. There was some frontal damage to the tub. However, I want to say it'll most likely be repairable. But yeah, they had to bring out a second tub that night and rebuild the new car, basically.
I was gonna say, because he slammed into that wall and then he caught on fire majorly. It wasn't like a teeny fire, like, oh look, it's on fire. It's like, whew. It's like, oh, he's on fire.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like, There you go. I mean, but hey, if the team didn't tell Tristan to back it down a little bit, he wouldn't have got caught up in that. And I really, really, really have no doubts that Tristan would have not either podiumed or won that race over in where was that? Texas?
Texas.
Yeah. That was a crazy race, but oh boy. Yeah, I felt gutted for Tristan, really did. But he was putting on a heck of a show right in the beginning there. He was really the class of the. I mean, people are still talking about it, for crying out loud. So, yeah, what are you gonna do? But then again, in this sport, money talks, right? But
Yep.
what are you gonna do? So, but you said you're 50-50 for Mid Ohio, and that makes Missy and I very happy because we'll be at Mid Ohio again, seventh year in a row. Missy, can you believe that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I know. I mean, of all the tracks, 7 years in a row, Mid Ohio. I swear, if I see Dixon win again. I've seen too many Dixon wins there. I've seen a Graham win there. I've seen a Kimball win there. Oh my God. I don't know why I keep going to that freaking track.
Right.
But there's just something about that track. I don't know about it. Anyways. So have you done any testing anywhere else that you haven't raced at yet? I keep wanting to call you Chandler. Yeah, I do want to call you Chandler. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I wanted to call you Colton for a second, but Chandler, you're not Colton.
No, unfortunately, really like this summer before Road America, we had 1 day of testing, not at a track we'll race at, but a different track. And then since guess Road America, no, we haven't done any testing. And then if we do end up racing Mid Ohio, we won't do any testing before that. And then if we go to Watkins Glen, hard to tell if we'll go testing before that. So yeah, I mean, every track this year was new for me, except the Grand Prix of Indy, which I had raced at once before. But yeah, every other track we're going to blind.
Now, what kind of what racing series did you race at Indy before?
Last summer I did the SVRA weekend there in Formula BMW.
Right on. How'd you fare?
Pretty well. I think the problem was I was in Group 9, which is all open wheel cars with wings and slicks post 1973. So we were racing against like old Champ cars, Indy Lights cars, Atlantics, Indy cars, etc. So like overall in the charts, I think I was usually like right around 10th or 14th out of 30 or so, which wasn't bad because by far I had the smallest car. But then like within Group 9, they broke us up into classes. And on the first day I finished third, and on the second day I ended up winning. So it was a good weekend. It was fun just getting to race at the Speedway.
Definitely, and that road course is just a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. We go there every year to watch it. And I think we've missed one GP so far. So, and I remember the first one. That was that place was awesome because it was just like we had the entire track to ourselves. But it's starting to get a really good following, and that's really cool to see. So, especially this year. This year was packed each day. Wow. But yeah, I mean, like, are people in MRTI like, are they like echoing the sentiment of, wow, there's a lot of people here that we're not used to seeing, or?
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I really didn't know any drivers personally prior to this year in USF 2000 aside from Dakota. So it's kind of fun, like at the driver autograph sessions, sitting next to new kids you'd never met before. And a couple of them, especially if they weren't from the U.S., don't really have a great knowledge of what the race weekends are actually like. They just see IndyCar on TV. So it's kind of neat to see how, for them, they'd never been a part of that before. And even for some of the U.S. kids, like, they had grown up kind of going to IndyCar races, but now, it's actually in front of you and you're sort of more of the spotlight. So yeah, I think they definitely did make some comments with how well we're treated for being the entry level of the junior formula for Mazda Road to Indy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, like, we were even saying like last year, with the, right messy with the Anthony Martin, Parker Thompson, pretty much battle, and then you had Franzoni in there, pretty much, basically kind of canceling the whole, battle out by leading them all. So,
I'm actually, I guess, a little upset that Pro Mazda doesn't have as many races because I really am looking forward to that battle because they've been going at it this year and I don't know, it just seems so long since they've raced, which I guess it has been. It was Road America.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last time Pro Mazda raced, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm really interested in that battle because it's just they've been fighting tooth and nail, and I'm pulling for Anthony only because he's a friend of the show, but I have interviewed Victor and he was really nice too. So it's starting to get hard now. I'm starting to know too many drivers in the paddock now. It's starting to get hard to have
Yeah, have your favorites.
Yeah, like go. No, I don't want you to win. No, go. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's like we're rooting for Parker while he's beating Ollie, but we're rooting for Ollie too. And it's just like I hope nobody gets mad at us. So, racing hero Greg Moore, huh?
Yeah. He's probably, I don't know, my favorite just because he was so naturally talented on the track. I mean, the dude had crazy good car control, and he was a racer. And also, like he grew up being a race car driver as well as like a hockey player, and hockey was really a big part of my life too. I played really starting at 10 years old up until left high school. So that was kind of cool. And then as well for Greg, he is such a good person for the sport itself off the track, really friendly with fans and stuff like that. The man you'd want your son to be or your daughter to marry. So I think it's kind of cool how he was able to offer both sides. He's the good racer on the track, as well as that great person off of it. And that's not something we're always treated to. In today's times, granted, there are many racers nowadays who are, fulfilling that role. But I don't know, for me, Greg was the guy growing up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Greg Moore is a legend. Definitely. I mean, doesn't Hinch race with a pair of Greg Moore's gloves in his fire suit, right?
Yeah, I think when he qualified for Indy one year, he had him in his suit. I'm not sure if he still races with them, but yeah, he has in the past.
Right on. Yeah, I wonder because I haven't seen them lately, and I know he won this year, and he normally shows them, so I haven't seen them lately. I wonder if he still does it. I mean, but like once you have a routine, you always have a routine. I would imagine. Like, I mean, you have a routine, right? What is it?
Oh yeah. Well, I always get dressed the same way. Always put the right side stuff on first, and then I have a certain way, like getting in the car from the left side, and then I always have to do my belts a certain way, and the person who does my belts has to stand on a certain side of the car. Just, I don't know, little things that I know I can always control. They're not sort of by chance, so that if something isn't quite right, it doesn't screw with me mentally. I know that, each time it'll be the same, and it just kind of helps calm me before the race, knowing like, okay, or, we're ready to go now. Everything's set.
I can 100% really, I feel you with that kind of a feeling with pretty much everything in my life. It's called OCD, really. But yeah.
Routines are good though. Routines are good. They do give you that stability in an unstable situation, right?
There was somebody else that told us that he always gets in on the left side of the car too. I don't want to say it's Anthony Martin, but I can't recall.
Yes. You're
was
right.
It?
Yep. And then we asked him why. He goes, I don't know. I just started doing it.
I was just about to ask Chandler. Chandler, why do you get in from the left side?
I don't have an answer. I guess when I started, I actually probably started when I started racing dirt bikes. I always got on from the left side. Like
right.
even when I ride a pedal bike, I always get on from the left side. I'll always sit down in a chair from the left side
because the kick starts on the right. So
yeah, I don't know. Just a very weird creature of habit.
Gotcha, man. No, but if it works for you, I can't knock it. So we've all got our.
Basically, whatever calms your nerves before you strap in and put the helmet on for the race, because the adrenaline you must feel before that has to be like just insane. Like you're about to have a heart attack.
Celine Dion is what does it for me.
Me too.
I like to hum the theme song to Titanic in my head.
You would.
We have
it might be a joke, it might not.
That's right.
But
you
I mean, me, Gloria Estefan, myself. But hey, I mean, I don't judge you. You don't judge me.
I'm right there with you.
I mean, Chandler.
No, but you're right.
Yeah, Chandler. Is there a song that calms you down before a race? Do you listen to some music? Is it like what's on your iPod before a race?
Actually, I don't ever listen to music before a race. I don't know. I've never gotten into listening to music. Usually, for me, I'll sort of look at a track map before with like prior notes or whatnot, and then just kind of I'll sit there and I'll look at it and I'll just kind of close my eyes and run like what I'd consider a good lap, a perfect lap through the track, because the thing, like, people talk a lot with starts, like if you can predict are you going to have a plan, things like that, proactive versus reactive. So I don't know, for me, I focus more on once we get going, making sure I'm calm, ready to go, hit my mark sort of thing. Because I don't know, a lot of times on the starts, it ends up being so reactive because you have no idea what everyone else is going to do. So I don't know, for me, I like to close my eyes and think about running laps in my head and then go hop in the car.
Right on. And
you don't tape a track map onto your steering wheel?
We do. But you don't look at it during the race.
No, Chandler's got a GPS. Chandler's got a GPS.
I've seen some drivers that do that. They tape the track map on their steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got one. So when you can talk to engineer and you don't have to try to recall off turn numbers when you're driving by.
Okay, well, here's an interesting question about Mid-Ohio. Which set of turn numbers do you subscribe to? Because I saw 3 different versions. Nikita Lishtakin was talking about it and blew me away because I didn't know that there was 3 different versions, but indeed there is. I thought I was sitting down near like turn 3, but no, that's like turn 7. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so at the end of the long straightaway is turn 4.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought. It was 1, 2, and then 3, 4, because the kink, right?
So yeah, left-hander's 1, the keyhole's 2, the kink is 3, and then the right-hander's 4.
Right, and then on another map, the keyhole is a 5, the kink is 6, and then the right-hander's 7. Somehow.
Oh, is that with the chicane put in?
Yeah, but there is no chicane that they're running. They still call it that though. In some forms of it, it's weird. I don't know. He was going over it. I was confused as usual, so that's why I brought it up. I'm normally confused. All right. So I mean, I would ask, favorite track you've raced so far this year, but I'm gonna guess you're gonna say Indianapolis.
Yeah. I think Indy's Indy. I don't know, for me, because like I have such a background at Indy that is kind of on its own pedestal, especially with it being like my hometown race. Outside of Indy, though, I'd definitely say St. Petersburg was my favorite track to race at. Right
on. What part of St. Pete was really stuck out on you and that you really liked a lot? Because we've been there a few times until Spirit Airlines decided that they were going to be like all of a sudden United Airlines and jack the prices through the freaking roof. No, I'm not going to get on that tangent though.
I think for me it's just because it's the first race of the year, so there's a lot of anticipation. It's in a sweet location right along the water. You have the harbor with all the boats and stuff. I think is cool down the back straightaway. And then I raced a lot of street races when I raced go-karts. So I think, my favorite style of track is definitely a street course. And I think, St. Pete's got a fun layout because it is a typical street course with a lot of, boulevard corners. But it's also not super, super narrow like a Toronto is. It races pretty well. I don't know. I've loved the atmosphere. I've gotten to go the past couple years as a spectator to hang out and whatnot. I don't know. The people are fun. The atmosphere is fun. The track's fun. So I think that's probably why it's my favorite.
Yeah, definitely. And having a paddock that's like, no, I wouldn't say it's indoors, but it's definitely shaded. That's always nice to have. Baltimore kind of beat them all with the air-conditioned paddock. I'll never forget that, and I'll miss it. But, that's because I hate the heat. But that's me. But my mother's from St. Pete area, so whenever we went down, there was like an extra bonus because we got to see her too. So, but maybe next year. Well, definitely next year to see the new cars come out. Not only the Pro Mazda, but the new Indy cars coming out. So definitely got to go there next year. So that's going to be our return to St. Pete next year, right, Missy?
They're speaking of the new Indy cars, they're testing at Mid Ohio. All right.
Yeah, the Tuesday after Mid Ohio.
What are they testing the new ones? Or are they testing the new ones with that screen?
They're testing the new aero kit configuration. The windscreen will not be tested yet. They're still working on that with the company.
Right. Okay. So Ferrari's the first one to test with them, huh? Right on.
Yeah, although IndyCar really created the concept, but Ferrari tested it before them.
I mean, as long as somebody is, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Did your dad have a hand in that, Chandler?
Yeah, he's in charge of that project.
Gotcha.
Okay, go on. I'm interested. All ears. What was your dad? What does your dad do?
He's IndyCar's director of engineering.
Is he now?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So really, he's in charge of like safety engineering on the race cars. So his job is to make them safer from an engineering standpoint. So with things like with seats, seat material, stuff like that, helmets, Hans device. Like he's the one in charge of them going crash sled testing and stuff like that.
Maybe like an earpiece.
Let's not get into that right now. Let's not get into that right at this moment. But we're gonna we need to talk after the show, Chandler. Okay, moving on. I mean, the fans of the show know what we're talking about, but we're not going to go over it right now. But Chandler's going to get a lesson of something, and we need to set something up. Anyway, Chandler, new best friends. Okay, rock on. So, I know you guys have Okay, so we have 25 minutes to go over what happened over the past weekend. There was some F1 racing going on. There was some IndyCar racing going on. There's some USF. There was some Indy Lights. So, Missy, why don't you kick it off with some finishing lineups, or some finishing lineups, some finishing results, and then we'll kind of just, we'll just, talk about the races as right after you do that, and see which ones were interesting to talk about, see which ones weren't, and because we want to make sure we get these guys out on time.
Any specific spot you want me to start?
Just do F1 first, and then go ahead on to MRTI, and then IndyCar, I'd say, and then we'll start talking about them.
Alrighty, well, F1, they were at the British Grand Prix, Silverstone this weekend, and
it's called
no
Silverstone.
Surprise here. You have Lewis Hamilton taking the win, followed by Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen to round out your podium.
I'm sure he was pissed.
Oh, you should have seen him in the room. Like you would, I don't know. Anyway, Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, Sebastian Vettel, Esteban Ocon, Sergio Perez, Felipe Massa, Stoffel Van Dorn, Kevin Magnussen, Romain Grosjean, Marcus Ericsson, Daniel Kvyat, Lance Stroll, Pascal Whelan, Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, and Julian Palmer was your finishing order for the F1 race.
Right on. Parker swept. Rock on.
Wait, whoa. We mentioned Formula One. So there was a couple interesting things that did happen in this race.
Right. I just wanted to get over the the like the finishing results, like top three of like USF, Indy Lights, and then IndyCar, and then we could talk about we can go back and talk about the races. I just want to make sure that we don't keep these two fine gentlemen longer than they graciously gave us time for. That's all.
Okay. So then USF 2000 race 1, Parker Thompson was your winner, followed by Oliver Askew, and Rinus VK was your podium. And then, let's see, USF 2000 Race 2, your finishing order was Parker Thompson, who swept the weekend, yep. Followed by Ryan SVK and Kalen Frederick to round out your podium for that.
He swept today.
Hey, yeah, swept it.
Yep.
Then Indy Lights, Race 1, you had Kyle Kaiser, followed by Zachary Clayman DeMello and Santi Urtia to round out your podium. And then in Race 2, you had Kyle Kaiser, who swept the weekend, followed by Aaron Tielitz, and Zachary Clayman DeMello finished out on your podium.
Remember that name, guys. For next week. Yay. Okay, that's on.
And stop it. And then IndyCar. So your finishing order was Joseph Newgarden was your winner, followed by Alexander Rossi and James Hinchcliffe to round out the podium. Then you had Marco Andretti, Simon Pagenaud, Ryan Hunter-Gray, Max Chilton, Elio Castro-Neves, Graham Rahal, Scott Dixon, Sebastian Saavedra, Charlie Kimball, Jared Hildebrand, Esteban Gutierrez, Carlos Munoz, Takuma Sato, Connor Daly, Spencer Piggott, Tony Kanaan, Ed Jones, and Will Power was your finishing order for the IndyCar race at Honda Indy Toronto.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Jesus freaking Christ. I mean, that could have been a curse. But, I mean, still, freaking Dixon. Okay, I'm going to stop. F1, yeah, that race, is Sands trying like everything that he can to get to really get the contract?
Whoa. I don't think that was Sands' fault, that crash.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the blame on that one on Daniel Cathet. I'm gonna stick the blame on him for that crash.
Oh, it wouldn't be the first. He'd be the blame for a crash, I suppose.
I mean, of course, they did come together again. I think this is, third race in a row at least they've come together. But yeah, I'm going to put that one on Daniel because, I don't know, Sands passed him and all of a sudden you just say, boop. Like, what?
What did it go like?
Sands because...
It went, boop.
Did you catch the race there, Chandler? Did you catch the the F1 race at all?
No, I wasn't able to see any of the F1 stuff. I just was in Toronto, so I caught the USF race and the IndyCar race, and the Indy Lights too.
Right on.
I mean, I think the only other interesting thing about the Formula One race is not the very last lap, 2 laps in, Kimi Räikkönen had to pit because bad left front tire, I believe. Sebastian Vettel, his wound up blowing on the last lap, and Max Verstappen had to pit, and they said the reasoning they pitted him on the second to last lap was for that same reason.
Well, Pirelli. Why is it always at Silverstone where they just really just bite? Ugh. Blow. You know, I remember the one year they started telling teams, don't hit the chicane. They're going to blow up. Our sidewalls just, we forgot to reinforce them. So, yeah. It just seemed like it that way. The only thing,
I guess, was a DNF for Fernando Alonso again.
Shocked. Telling he's coming here next year full time. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I just feel bad for him. It just seems like race after race after race. It just
keep on,
he has a little spot in my heart now since he came over, IndyCar.
I shook his hand.
Feel bad for him.
I said hi, shook his hand. That was it. I know what else to say. It was kind of embarrassing. Anyway, but still, I guess shook his hand. Anyway, right on. Okay, so F1, awesome. It's amazing. Hamilton won again. So was that his 5th win over there in Silverstone?
4th, I think they said. I think it's 4th in a row, actually.
I thought it was 5th overall. Don't quote me on it. I don't care enough. Moving on.
I don't know. I think he's won the last 4 races there in the last 4 years, I think. I think that's what they said.
Wouldn't shock me.
Because I was just watching it right before this.
Yeah. Well, I guess, is it the Sands watch, I guess? Is he going to stay at Toro Rosso?
Well, there is a story out there that they're I don't know what they're doing. They're shopping them, trying to come up with $8 million. I don't know. I guess.
Well, they hate each other. That's for sure.
And then they might be bringing up Gasly. Is that his last name?
Pierre Gasly.
Yeah.
To take a spot. So I guess we'll have to be on the Sands watch to see if he's gonna.
Become a new Renault driver apparently.
But I mean, do we have to be on the Daniel watch too?
What, Kvyat?
Yeah, I mean, those
or
two.
Kvyat, whatever.
Kvyat, whatever.
Well, every time Kvyat crashes a few times in a row, he seems to get bumped down someplace. I remember last time he did it, and it was to Vettel like over and over and over for like 3 races in a row, and like 4 times, and then down to Toro Rosso he went. So who knows? I guess it's all on who you hit in F1. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Is there anything else F1 anybody wants to talk about? Anything? Going once,
No.
going twice, or going F1 out. I didn't say it. Oh. All right, so let's get into Toronto where it was like exciting. Yep. USF was exciting as all. I mean, qualifying was intense, man. Qualifying, they were besting each other like last lap, boom, boom, boom. I mean, Rob Howden was calling it, so I mean, he can pretty much call out names out of a phone book, and I'd be interested as hell. So,
oh yeah, Rob's awesome.
Yeah, it really does. But good God, y'all. I mean, Parker got the pole in race 1. Who the freak got pole in race 2? Was it Ollie? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was Ollie.
That Oliver Askew, man, I did not see him coming. Did I? Did anybody else? Other than Rob Howden? I guess not. Okay, so yeah, all right. Then I'm with the majority. Right on.
I mean, I thought race 2 was the more interesting one because I know what's his name, Alex Barron and Malukas. They were going at it, and it was funny because I seen it was Ollie in 3rd and Parker in 4th, and I was just watching it, and I'm like, those two are really going at it. I said, I think Ollie and Parker can just sit back and just wait. And those two are just gonna, And then as soon as I thought that, bam! But of course they took Ollie with them, which was unfortunate.
It
But good for Parker. Yeah. I mean, it was good for Parker. I mean, he just right there. He was far enough back, but I mean, I felt bad for Ollie because he just got caught up in their battle going on, just overzealous. I forget who it was I forget who was in front. I don't remember if it was Dave. I don't know if it was David Malukas was in first.
Was on the outside of 3, and Malukas' left front touched his right rear, and that caused Barron to spin and hit Malukas.
Now, Barron's an interesting story. I mean, he was an Indy Lights driver at one point, and then I guess he didn't win the championship, ran out of money, funding, and all that, and now he's trying to come back and do it all over again, and hopefully, I guess. I don't know what he's trying to do, really, because is this his first race back?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's the first race that I've heard his name being said, to be honest with you.
No, he raced. Yeah, I think he raced Iowa. I don't know if he raced anything before that.
Not in USF.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just Iowa in this one here now.
I mean, is this him gearing up to do USF next year full time?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, because it's almost like, if you're not, then what's the point? Almost, because I mean, this whole series is the point of racing a full season to, I mean, unless you're Felix Rosenqvist, who can win anywhere, wherever he goes, and just. Where do I want to race this year? Let me throw a dart at the globe and spin it. All right, DTM. It looks like I'm going to go win there this weekend. I mean, does anybody disagree with me that Felix Rosenqvist is just about the youngest, probably most talented, natural talent driver in the world right now? Honestly. Wherever he goes, the kid wins.
Charles Leclerc.
What's that?
Charles Leclerc. But yeah, Felix is really good because he's so good in all series. So I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see him in IndyCar someday.
I mean, yeah, it's almost like if he didn't, he honored his contract that he had with the Blancpain team that Tristan Voltaire was racing with, and basically whenever Felix came over to race with him, they pretty much won. So there you pretty much go. I mean, then he comes over here. Like, what was it, Indy Lights?
I think James French took a spot when he did Blanc Spain at Road America.
Yeah, he did. That's why I was
last
there.
year.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people took his spot whenever he left. I mean, he wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I mean, I'm like, it's really hard pressed to say that if Felix didn't like spend the whole entire series in Indy Lights last year, he would have won the championship. Yeah, easily. But fortunately, he didn't, and Ed Jones won it, which we're happy about. Friend of the show, and never forgot us, which I love. And we every race we go to, he's always happy to lend a great 15-minute interview with him. So that's great.
So after this weekend, I guess the USF 2000 championship standings has been thrown a little bit. Ollie is still in first with 283 points. Rhinus VK is still in second with 265. And now Parker Thompson has leapfrogged over Kaylin Frederick with 206 points. And Kaylin has 185 now. So,
I mean,
Mid-Ohio should be an interesting weekend.
Tell me about it. Now, Kristian and Chandler, do you agree with me that, they've been in the cars long enough? I mean, Chandler, you can attest to this, that you've raced in this new USF 17 chassis long enough to where you've gotten a pretty good feel for the car, and now this is when experience is going to start kind of taking over, because pretty much the first half of the season was everybody was like kind of almost on the even playing field.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the winter testing people got to do. I mean, some of the big teams did thousands of miles of testing. So, I mean, you know the race car at that point. It's just going to each individual track and figuring it out. So I think, the big teams, obviously, will come to the track ready to go. And then especially helps with all the different teammates if they do need to try things, if they don't quite roll up the trailer right. I can figure it out quickly. I think right now, coming to the experience thing, you see, older drivers, the experience, someone like Parker who's been in the series and in a championship fight, he has a different perspective on things. Maybe, it doesn't bother him quite as much, or since he's kind of, third right now, he's not so focused on the championship, and maybe that helps him because, then he can just focus on going and driving, whereas Renus and Oliver are really the two-horse fight right now. So, maybe the mental game starts setting in and, they might start making mistakes here and there or something. You never know. Or they, it's their time to shine and they put their head down and, go win races. So it'll be interesting to see here with the last 3 race weekends of the year who ends up winning the championship because, as we saw in Toronto, anything really can happen, whether through fault of your own or not.
It's very true. I mean, and, Toronto, very technical track. I mean, Mid-Ohio, about the most technical track you're going to race on, minus Barber, I'd say. I don't know if you agree or not. Idea?
Yeah, I'd say Barber, Road America, and Mid-Ohio are by far the toughest tracks.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, and, Parker definitely excels at Mid-Ohio. He proved it last year. If it wasn't for that flat tire, who knows what would have happened last year. But,
he's got the experience, Chandler makes a good point there when he says about the experience. I think that experience can be a synonym at times for comfort,
Exactly.
And that's what it all comes down to, being in a pressurized situation, but feeling very comfortable, and that's a benefit to him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because, we're pulling for Parker to, pretty much win the championship this year. And so, he doesn't, move on over to sports cars because he wasn't able to win the championship because he's really, banking on that championship. So, and, I couldn't have been more happy for him over the weekend, really. I couldn't have. And then, how about Kyle Kaiser? Huh? Wow. Didn't see that coming. Sweep too.
I gotta say, Frank, you explaining his situation, Parker's situation. That's something that I don't think a lot of fans even know about, but it adds so much to the story,
Really?
Really makes you want to watch, knowing that somebody is in a all my eggs are in one basket type of situation, and if this doesn't pan out, my back's against the wall. And we don't move on here. But that's the kind of stuff that's going to get people watching. And I wish there was a way to publicize more of these little backstories that go on behind everything. That really add a character to the series, because you're either going to get fans like you and Missy who really do appreciate what we do on the Mazda Road to Indy, or you get the other fans who are like, forget those guys. We only want to watch the Verizon series, and it's these stories right here that add character that you don't get in the Verizon series. So I really do appreciate you bringing that up and knowing that personal backstory and saying something, man. Hopefully it gets somebody to tune in that wasn't wanting to tune in before. So.
Well, that's what we started to try and push, because the Mazda Road to Indy, these are the future IndyCar drivers. I mean, right now there's speculation about how much, about Elio Castroneves. Is he going to be racing next year? They're all not going to be racing forever. Elio, Tony Kanaan, they're all getting up there. They're not racing forever. So who's going to take their places? These guys coming up are going to be the ones that you're going to be seeing.
That's why I was saying, come 2020, 2021, I mean, the IndyCar series is going to look much different than it does right now. And I think it's going to look even better because not only do you have some of, the most talented race car drivers, young race car drivers now, but experienced race car drivers, come, the time that they're ready for IndyCar. And the biggest difference that they have is the camaraderie that you guys have in the paddock. It's like everybody knows each other and are friendly, but once you guys get out on the track, it's you guys race each other hard, but you race each other clean, and it's just some great racing. And that's what open wheel racing is all about, is some of the most talented drivers racing as hard as you can against each other, and that's where the excitement is. The excitement's not in the crashes, the excitement's not in any of that. This is not what open wheel racing's about. Open wheel racing's about getting the most talented drivers in the world out there against each other and seeing how close that they can race each other and how hard that they can race each other without basically crashing. That's the excitement. And that's excitement to me anyway. And plus, the drivers that are doing it, great personalities, great, just great people, just great human beings. I mean, the charities that they're always, doing things for, no matter what. I mean, just the camaraderie they have between each other instead of, the rivalries. They're just, they're friends off the track, but on the track, nobody's friends. I get that. And it's not always, teammates helping each other out. It's every man for themselves out there, but they're going to race each other clean, and that's what I love to see. And we don't get to see that, too much in the IndyCar series right now, but in a couple more years we will, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. We just need to get more money into the junior series so more people progress than just the championship winner, and maybe that the Franzonis of the world that just so happen to land a Pro Mazda seat like a week before the season starts for some reason. But he earned it. He definitely earned it. I'm not saying he didn't, but nobody's seen it coming either, and that's kind of my point, So with the interest that that's out there right now, with the live streaming that they're doing, and with the big crowds that are there, all weekend long, and not just on the Sundays, it's definitely turning, and people are definitely noticing Mazda Road to Indy a lot more than they have the last 2 years. That's for sure. You can't argue that fact. So I mean, I have that, Kristian and Chandler. You agree with me here, or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been awesome to see the amount of growth that Mazda Road to Indy has seen in these past couple of years, and I based off this year and the last couple of years, I think it's just going to continue to grow as more and more people become involved. Because I think a big thing now with social media is all these young drivers are out there, showing themselves to the world, what they're all about and whatnot. I think it's a lot easier now for fans to, see and be a part of their career, because you don't just have to see them on a race weekend. Now it's you can have them in your palm every day, on your cell phone. So I think that's a big thing that's helped now with the internet and the way the world's working, that you can look up races and stuff at the click of a button. So hopefully that trend continues, and like you said, people want to bring more money to the Mazda Road to Indy.
Yeah, and I really think that's the next step that's got to happen, and I think it's going to once, I mean, I really think it's really the next progression that's coming, and it just has to, because they're because the ones that are really making out right now are the tracks, So, but there has to be a some sort of a give and take here and there. Luke and I were talking about, well, okay, so the champion of the championship gets the whole next year ride, but how about second, third, and fourth? They get a little piece of the pie, because the piece of the pie is there to be had, So it's there when it never used to be. I'm just saying, it's there. How about spreading it around so we don't have, at Road America, the driver who's fifth in points sitting on the stands watching it. That should never happen, as far as I'm concerned. Or 3 out of the top 10 in points sitting on the stands. It should not happen ever. And it just it breaks my heart. It really does. And like Missy and I were saying, if we hit the lottery, we'd sponsor all you guys. So it didn't happen, because it's just it just kills me that it happens. I mean, it's the same thing with.
When was the last time you played?
I'm not lucky. Trust me, I'm not a very lucky person. I'm more unlucky than lucky, Kristian. Trust me.
We're working on other things to make it happen, so.
Yeah. We make our own luck here. It's the only way I'm going to get it, if I make it.
We have plans in the works.
Yes, we do.
Hopefully, big announcements coming soon.
Yep, and one of the, especially in one of the series that you've raced in at Indy there, Chandler.
Awesome.
Yep, which we'll be talking about with you shortly. So, right on. Let's talk about the IndyCar race here before we gotta let these two fine gentlemen go, because I think it's right about that time where, yes, it is. So, Missy, the IndyCar race, is there really anything to say? I mean, Dixon, what the freak?
I don't think Will expected him to pop out like that.
No.
At all. I think he took Will completely by surprise. But
not saying Dixon did on purpose or anything.
Well, no, but I thought there was a couple times. I think it was Spencer Pigot and Ed Jones. There was quite a few times. I mean, they were passing left and right. I mean, before Ed's mechanical failure, but even Spencer Pigot, he was passing the guys left and right, and it was funny because he was setting them up, and it was lap after lap. He was just dude, same spot, and I was just holy crap, he's at the same spot again, passing the next person. I know Paul Tracy pointed it out, but it was just I think Adrian, IndyCar, at IndyCar UK, he was, saying Mazda Road to overtaking, because it was just, Ed Jones, Spencer Pigot just, passing left and right. And usually this isn't a track that, you're going to be passing as often as they were passing.
Anybody agree? Disagree? Rebuttals? Anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was kind of cool to watch Spencer there at the beginning of the race, because there was a whole train of cars and he just went by picking them off one by one. So definitely made the race entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great race. I mean, towards the end it kind of settled down. I mean, Newgarden just kind of ran away with it towards the end there. On a pit strategy of all things. I mean, when's the last time you see a Penske car win on a pit strategy move? Honestly, that's more of a Dale Coyne kind of move, or a Sam Schmidt. Yeah,
it was interesting. Last year at Toronto, we saw the exact same thing happen, where Dixon got out front and just pulled away, and he got caught out by the yellow. And the same thing happened this year, but the 3 cars with Elio and Simon and Graham, they were out front cruising, and then, you misjudge a yellow, and, you're at the back and having to fight your way through. So obviously it sucks, because if you're the one at the wrong end of the stick, it kind of, you go from first to the back, but then it also at the same time makes it interesting for the fans. Sometimes it's not just lead follow the whole race. So sometimes it just is what it is.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So just one more thing. I mean, there's really not much to say about this IndyCar race other than like the first couple turns, or I mean the first couple turns really were exciting.
I mean, the first turn, yeah. I mean, Elio came shoot right out of nowhere, right to the front from third. It was just like, whoa.
Didn't matter.
Oh no, it did. In the end, it didn't.
No. One thing I wanted to ask you there, Chandler, before we let you guys go. One talent you wish you had. Why singing? I'm just curious.
Because girls love it.
Great answer.
My man.
Great
My
answer.
man.
My man, pots and pans. Right on. That's what I like to hear. And
I don't know. I think it'd be kind of nice because obviously, like a lot of people sing. Maybe a lot of people sing that they shouldn't. You know, in the car or something. And
I'm one of those.
It'd be nicer, one, you know, for the women, but two, just so that people wouldn't tell me to stop singing when I'm in the car, because I love karaoke.
Oh, right on. Why do you did you attend a certain karaoke bar every weekend?
No, not a regular one. Mostly just if we're like in the car or something, you know, you sing along to the radio.
Okay, favorite band or favorite singer to sing along with?
I don't know if I just have like one in particular. I like a lot of classic rock or like some country music. Mostly like the classic rock stuff's, I don't know, good. It's fun. And then like same with the country. If you get some good songs there too, my friends enjoy it, so we all have a good time.
Yeah, that one guy. Well, what's his name? Walker Jr. Love him. Love him. Yep. Yeah, there's this one song in particular. No, I can't say it because it's a clean podcast. Right on. All right. I know I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's hysterical.
Yeah.
Family Tree song cracks me up every time. Okay.
Right.
Google that one, guys. Anyway, so, Chandler, you are a new driver to our show. So, before we let you guys go, we have two quick questions for you. I'm going to hand it over to Missy before she ends the show. And, Missy, take it away. And before she does that, Chandler, thank you for coming on, and we're looking forward to having you on again real soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh crap! What are the two questions? It's been so long. Oh,
Jesus,
Chandler,
girl.
It's been a while.
It's been 3 years we've been doing it. Jesus.
I know, but
Louises.
we haven't had a new driver on the show in a while. First question. What keeps you most comfortable in the car regarding your gloves and your boots? You got a favorite brand you like?
I've worn Alpine Star. I wore them in go-karting, I think, because one of the local shop carries them, and they fit well and work for me. So I just, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And last question. Do you prefer a harder or softer sole for your boot?
Harder.
Ooh, okay.
See, that's what I said. Wasn't that my answer? And they scoffed at me, Chandler.
Well,
because it's not usual. It's not normal.
It's not usual. A lot of
Thank you, buddy.
It's opposite.
This is why you're my man.
Usually the sports car drivers, and softer is usually the open wheel guys.
That is the average. That is the average.
This is why.
You guys are the oddities.
Yeah, you two. So you two can both be happy and thinking that you both are the oddballs of open wheel racing, and in the soles of your boots. You can wear that. You can wear that with pride.
My guy.
Right on.
But before we let everybody go, Chandler, did you want to throw out your social media so everyone can find you?
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So my Twitter and Instagram are the same. It's at Chandler J Horton. So yeah, that's the easiest way to find me. Both Twitter and Instagram. Try to update them as often as possible.
Right on.
And Kristian, who needs a Twitter.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you one and then send you the password, brother. But
Oh God.
but
Okay.
I'm going to give you a day to make one. If you don't, I'm going to send you one, and then I'm going to push it every time you're on, and you're not going to like the name I come up with. Just saying. So if you don't want the name I'm going to come up with, because I'm very
Unicorn's going to be in the title, isn't it? I just know it.
Well, you never know. I'm not going to tell you, but you could have it if you want, but you better grab it in about 24 hours. That's all I'm giving you.
Right?
And Missy, we'll be reposting all of their good stuff once Kristian gets some good stuff on his Twitter once he gets one, and also Chandler stuff. And where can they find all that good stuff at?
That would be www.theindysportscarpodcast.com.
Right on, girl. And I think on that note.
And on that note, you know that I know that Frank, he's still trying to know. This week, Kristian doesn't know. But now, Chandler knows,